Hello and welcome to Represented. Represented is an interview series done by the Martin Center here in the European Parliament in Strasbourg, where we try to present the ones who represent you. Here with me today I have two MEPs, one of which is a veteran and one new one, to try to reflect the new reality in the Parliament, which is consisted of 2/3 newly elected MEPs and 1/3 already experienced one. So here with me I have Antonio López-Istúriz White and Sara Skyttedal. First of all, thank you for taking time on such a busy day to meet here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we start with a very easy question. How do you say Europe in your language?
Okay, Europa.
Europa.
Ah, very similar.
You see, I always say we have more similarities than differences. What is your first association when I say Europe?
Community, I think.
Future.
What piece of advice could you offer to a new MEP on how to survive the new legislative period?
To a new MEP.
New
because
MEP.
I feel new every time. Every time I'm re-elected. This is the fourth time. There's no general advice. It's very difficult to explain that now we are going to elect in a few moments the President of the European Commission. Big momentum, the media is around, big interviews, but later on the cameras will shut off. We will have our daily work, which is mostly not known by the European citizen. Unfortunately, every decision we take here has an impact later on because it has to be adapted to the different countries, so it takes time. So the tragedy here is that decisions, laws that we are implementing from the European Parliament will see the light, will be felt by our citizens maybe 5 or 6 years later. So there is not, prima facie, there is not an approach like maybe a mayor or a local politician which every day is in contact with the daily life of citizens. But make no mistake, 60% of what's affecting our citizens is produced here in this European Parliament.
And in your case, as a new MEP, bringing a fresh perspective to the European Parliament, what piece of advice could you offer to the ones who have already been here?
Firstly, I hope I will have the patience then that as Tono is talking about. I served as deputy mayor just before this, so I come from the local perspective. But I think my advice would be that when voices are being raised, that we somehow need to fully reinvent ourselves to attract young people, that to never give up on the basic values. And I think that to gain respect and to be attractive in the long run, you need to stand firm in the basic values. And I think that's how you will get respect. And I think also what people want is authenticity, and to always show that.
Yeah.
So as you have both been elected, I would be curious to know what were the biggest issues you have focused on in your campaigns back at home?
I wish it was about European affairs, but unfortunately European campaigns are always about national affairs. Every time I detect, now has been my fourth election, I have seen the evolution. I see that there is a little bit more of European debate every time. My aim, my ambition, and many of us, is that we will have a full European debate during the European electoral campaign. I think that our citizens are also wanting this from us, but unfortunately I'm also asking national politicians, national media to do an effort that we also Europeanize the debate in European elections.
While I was investigating what to ask you for this interview, I came up with two photos that I wanted to ask you both what they are about.
This was a Halloween party a few years ago, I think, and I really like to do some advanced makeup sessions. That's what you're seeing there.
And in your case?
I am not doing a magic trick. I am not directing an orchestra, as far as I see. No, I was beating the drums, digital drums, in an event that was concentrated in young entrepreneurs in the digital era. And I think it was fantastic. I discovered many of these new apps, these new initiatives by young people. And these digital drums that I have to tell you is like the real thing.
Were you good?
I try to, but I'm more a fan of rock bands than a performer. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Where is the best place in Brussels to do fika?
So fika is how we call it when we take a coffee and have some pastries with it. There's actually a place called Fika in Brussels where you can have your urge for some Swedish delicacies fully fulfilled.
If you had to choose one, which MEP would you think would find best his or her way around an arena as a matador?
To be fair, I will speak about former MEPs. Two former MEPs that have left our group these days, that are no longer with us, that have been for many years. These were authentic, really matadors in the arena, here in the European Parliament. I don't want to speak about my actual colleagues, because there are a lot right now. But these two former colleagues are Elmar Brok and Alain Lamassoure. Two true Europeanists, one from Germany, and I have thought, because of the German Franco-Entente, it's very important for all of us, and both of them, they have contributed in our group during many years.
Which MEP would you choose to assemble an IKEA cabinet with?
I actually really like to assemble IKEA furniture. I know everyone doesn't. Many people get frustrated. I see it as this big 3D puzzle, more or less, and I can,
In Spain is fashion, IKEA.
That's good. Well, I guess no one else hears me now than Tono, so I will. Of course, I think it would be good teamwork, maybe.
Smart choice.
Yeah.
Swedes are famous for their love for Eurovision. If you would have to sing in a karaoke a song from a Eurovision, which one would it be?
It's the only thing I sing in karaoke, only Eurovision. I like a lot of traditional Swedish Schlager, and I like Carola a lot. Our contribution in the 1983 Främling was really good. I think I actually sang it a few times at karaoke before, so
ABBA?
I know it. ABBA as well, of course, every time.
That's good to know.
It depends if the audience is international. ABBA is more convenient than the ones in Swedish. So,
if Europe was Don Quixote, what would be its windmills?
I would say, would there be a Don Quixote if there are no windmills? Will that story be written? I think that Europe needs these windmills. What people see as challenges, as problems for the European Union, maybe because I'm half American, I have to confess here, I only see opportunities. That is when we get together. That is when we face the same problems with solidarity inside the European Union. So welcome the windmills. And I think that the fight of Don Quixote against the windmills, it's a very good example for what we are doing here in this European Parliament and in the European project.
Speaking of windmills, millions of young people around Europe, led by your fellow Swede Greta, demanded from the EU to take more action when it comes to climate crisis. What can the EU do to make sure that their concerns are heard?
Actually, I think the last thing we should do is to take her advice to panic. When you panic, you easily get paralyzed. It's a feeling that is not, addressing people to make sure that they act rationally. And I think EU should keep its cool and to act, and to make sure that we do this progress and take it seriously. But it should not stem from some kind of emotional sentiment, but rather to make sure that we have the facts and make sure that the industry can make it.
How to make Europe's defense more efficient?
I believe in this idea of a European army, but like everything in the European Union, it has to be done step by step. There are certain people that very rightly said that this could enter into conflict with our NATO system. But it has been so useful for all of us during these decades. Let's find a way through. I think that we can keep NATO, but we also need our European approach and defense.
Thank you. Now we go for the quick questions, which are one or another choice. So I start with Sara. Swedish semla or kladdkaka?
Semla, but you can only eat it prior to Lent. So.
But what is semla? What is?
It's like a bun filled with how is this in English? Cream and some almond like cream, like marzipan, but it's not marzipan.
Okay.
And
well,
yeah, it's very heavy.
Next time I would like to
try.
You have to.
It's to fatten up before Lent season, so you can survive.
Speaking of the things to try, paella or gazpacho?
Gazpacho, yes.
I like how determined you are.
Well, we are near summer, and I'm telling you, paella, 40 degrees in Spain, in Spanish beach, is very difficult to swallow. Gazpacho is fresh; it's always good. I like it.
Rock climbing or surfing?
Rock climbing. I'm better at rock climbing. I'm going to do both this August in California, so we'll see.
Bullfights or committee meetings?
Although they are the same in some aspects, these are very different things. Huh? I love bullfights. Sorry, but it's the case. I have been born and raised in Pamplona, in Spain, where we run with the bulls. I understand the fiesta, I understand the culture, I have defended it.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas. I guess I would need to resign otherwise as a Christian Democrat.
I wanted to make that remark, thank you. The last set of questions, who is more likely to? So you have two papers in front of you with both of your names, and you're supposed to show the paper and vote for who is more likely to. First question, who is more likely to have a better coffee in their office?
I don't have coffee in my office, so I guess yes. I hope I can come to you.
By unanimity.
That was an easy one. Who is more likely to put more amendments on a policy proposal? Again, unanimity.
I'm infamous.
And as we're in Strasbourg here, who is more likely to speak better French?
I don't speak French.
Okay, I do.
So I guess that's...
Wow, you were the first ones to have unanimity in all of it.
Yeah, we're in the same party, so it's good.
Yeah, it's good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to having you in other events that we will organize.
Thank you.
Thank you also to the Martin Center.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Great.